In all probability, if you're a trader, if you're on any sort of entrepreneurial path or any path that's different to the status quo, any different to the conventional out there, you're going to have resistance. You're going to have challenges. You're going to have haters. Call them what you want. And chances are it may even be members in your family who won't support you on your trading journey, for example, your entrepreneurial journey. So it's really important to understand a few principles in human behavior and psychology, and understand that your family is designed at times to have complementary value systems. And if you don't know how to effectively communicate, there's going to be conflict in that family. And you have to understand that if you don't address that, if you don't put in place the things I'm going to talk about in this particular trading psychology lecture, then you're going to have extra resistance and extra unnecessary pressures on yourself as a trader, which are going to stack the odds against you. So it's really important that you take what I'm going to pass on to you in this particular lecture, you implement it into your trading, and it's going to help significantly on the journey when you're met by individuals who don't want to support you. So I'm really excited to share the ideas I have in here. So without further ado, let's get into it. Talking all about your family will not support you on this journey. Now, the big problem we're addressing in this particular lecture is the psychological effect of having haters or having people who don't agree with what you're doing. And there may be family members who come in here and ask what you're doing and why you're doing that, and you shouldn't be doing that, and they say all these types of things. So it's important to understand where that's coming from, and it's important to understand how to interpret that and to communicate effectively to them. Most traders have external pressures from their family, from their friends, and from wider society. This is additional and unnecessary pressure in the journey, and it's negatively going to affect their ability to go off and execute in the market, and it's also going to negatively affect their self-belief. And you may come to points in the journey where you are deep in drawdown and you've taken multiple losses, and you start to buy into this stuff that your family and friends have told you, and you may think that, you know what, my family's right and this isn't for me. I'm not cut out for this. And you may have that influence on your journey. So it's important that we understand where this comes from, and it's important to understand how to address it and communicate effectively. This external pressure is mainly because traders do not understand value systems, priority systems within a family, and how to effectively communicate between theirs and their family members. Now, it's important to understand this whole idea of value systems or priority systems. It's important to recognize that every family member, your mum, your dad, or whoever played the father or mother role, your siblings if you have them, or whoever's playing your brother and sister role, and maybe even your kids, for example, if you have kids, every family member has their own unique set of priorities. Uncles and aunties, grandparents, everybody's going to have a unique set of priorities, and they're on a mission to go and fulfill their unique set of priorities. You have a unique set of priorities based on voids in your life, and you're making actions, decisions, and perceptions based on what's going to give you greatest advantage to that value system. And every single one of your family members is doing the exact same thing to their unique set of values, to their unique set of priorities. Everybody's had different life experiences. Everybody's had different perceptions of those life experiences. Everybody has a slightly different physical makeup in their brain. Everybody has a slightly different DNA code. And all these factors come together to creating a unique destiny for each of these individuals, a unique set of priorities that they go and enact on, and ultimately a unique destiny where they end up. So it's important that every single person you interact with is going to have a different journey they're on, fingerprint specific. And if you don't understand what your value system is, and you don't understand how to screen others and understand what their value system is, there's going to be conflict. So there will be someone who values trading, business, and finance in the family. If you're watching this, it's probably you. And you know you value that thing if your life demonstrates that you're dedicated to that and developing in that area. So for example, if all you do with your life is you go to work to create income, you come home to learn how to trade, to create additional income sources, you love to read about trading and investments, you may be starting additional businesses to generate more income, your life demonstrates that you're committed to those things, you have a high value on trading, business, and income. Now, while another family, so you may have a high value on trading, business, and finance, therefore another family member is going to have a high value on the complementary areas of life, things like socializing, things like health and fitness, things like family. So the more polarized you are to one way, if you're very focused on trading and finance, chances are you're going to have a complementary force, a family member that's dedicated heavily to socializing, health, fitness, family, the complementary areas of life. This is to ensure that the family unit can maximize its growth and development in all areas areas of life. It's really important to understand there's nothing wrong with your family if you like different things or you value different things. In fact, that's how the family unit's set up. It's set up in a way to cover all areas of life so the family holistically can empower themselves in all areas of life. Now, if you're more balanced and you've got a value system that spans across multiple different areas of life, then chances are your family is also going to be quite balanced and they're going to be quite diverse as well. If a family only focused on their health, their socializing, their family, for example, there would be a lot of empowerment in those areas, but there would be little to no income. And so too, if a family only focused on trading and finance and business and income generation, that family would be incredibly wealthy, but there wouldn't be an empowerment in other areas of life and they'd be vulnerable in those areas of life. So this is why it's important for a family to have a diverse value system, and all families do. That's really important to understand. So therefore, different members within the family are going to play different roles. Now, the issue comes, the conflict happens when you don't understand the different value systems and you try and project your value systems onto other family members, and your family members try and project their value systems onto you. And the way you know you're projecting or someone's projecting onto you is they say things like you should be going to the gym, you should be socializing, you should be hanging out with family more. Doing is projecting their own value system, disregarding yours. And you may hear yourself saying things like you should save, you should invest, you should build your business. Things I'm very guilty of saying myself. So you understand you're projecting and getting projected onto when you use language like you should or you need to, you have to. These are all imperative forms of language. If someone in your family has a high value on health and socializing, for example, they may not understand why you're spending so much time on your trading and business and your finances. They may think that you're wasting your time because in their mind, in their value system, they don't value those areas of life. It's not important to them. So in their mind, they don't understand why you're dedicating so much time. So they may come up to you and say, you should go outside, you should spend more time in the gym, you should spend more, because that's what they understand, that's what they value. And so too, you may not understand why they're spending so much time going out with friends and partying and drinking and doing all those social things. In your mind, because you have a high value in business and finance, you may see all those activities as taking away from the financial situation, whereas that family member values that, and that's where they get their fulfillment from. So if we don't understand the different value systems in the family, more importantly, we don't understand how to communicate effectively between value systems, there's going to be conflict, and there's going to be projections, there's going to be arguments, there's going to be pressure, unnecessary pressure I may add, but there's going to be pressure in the family. This can lead to conflict and tension within the family. So the solution here is very, very simple. Solution is to start by identifying what is most important to your loved ones. Okay, go through. You may be in a family right now and you want to have a look. All right, what do my parents value? What does their life demonstrate they value? Remember, everybody is committed to something and their life demonstrates what's important to them. If they say it's something, if they say this is important to me, but their life doesn't actually demonstrate that they're committed to it, they don't put time, energy, and effort, they don't invest resources into it, they don't have results in that area, then it's not important to them. So you want to look at what their life demonstrates as most important to them and take note of that. Now, you then want to learn to communicate your own priority systems, all right? If you're watching this, chances are you have a very high priority on trading and business. You want to learn to communicate your trading and business in terms of what's important to your family member. So instead of going to maybe, let's say for example, going to speak to my mum, who has a very high value on family and ensuring the raising of a beautiful family. That's what she values. If I was to come up to her and tell her, you know, you need to save, you need to invest, you need to start doing these types of things, you need to build your business, she may not register the value in doing that because she doesn't initially see how that's going to help what she values. But if I go off and say, this is what I think would be wise, and I communicate it in terms of what she values in terms of family, right? Communicating the benefit of having cash savings relative to the family. There's going to be more stability in the family. Communicating the investments in terms of the family. You're going to have a nest egg that you could use for your grandkids or whatnot, or you could use for yourself. So if I'm starting to communicate what I value and what's important, what I think is wise in terms of what my mother values, then they're going to be more receptive to that and they're going to understand because we're talking in the same language, we're talking in the language they understand. The key is to learn to communicate your own priorities in terms of what's important to your family members and show them how your trading, for example, whatever you value is actually going to benefit them. Because if they see it benefiting them, they're going to be more open to it. They're going to be more receptive to it. Just like if someone was to communicate to you how what they want is beneficial to your trading, you're going to be more open and receptive to that. So when we communicate effectively, our family members are more likely to be supportive and open to helping us achieve our goals. The way we communicate effectively is knowing what's important to them and communicating our values, our trading, our business, our financial goals in terms of what's important to them, okay? The moment we can do that, there's going to be much less tension. They're going to understand the different values and the different roles, and they're going to see that they're not actually conflicting, they're actually helping each other, and both are important. It's really important to have an understanding and awareness of what's valuable to your family, and then it's really, really important to learn to communicate effectively. Communicate what you value in terms of what they value, and that's going to take a lot of pressure off your shoulders. That's going to take a lot of the shoulds off your shoulders, and it's going to help your family understand what you're doing in terms of what they understand and what they value, and they're going to be in a position where because they understand what you're doing now, they won't put a lot of pressure, won't put a lot of stress on you. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, if you are finding resistance from your family, if you're finding your family is not supporting you, chances are it's all to do with the value systems. You're not communicating your trading in terms of a language they understand. They're not seeing it from their perspective and from what they value. So now utilize this information I've passed on here to go and experiment and communicate effectively to your family. I guarantee when you start to show them how it's going to benefit them and their value system, and you communicate it in a language that they understand, their value system, they're going to be open, they're going to be receptive, they're going to be supportive, and they're going to help you on the journey, okay? Now, if you resonate with this, you guys and girls are going to love the 12-week program. We've got a free 7-day trial to that. So check that out. I teach everything you need to know from a trading psychology perspective to remove the negative emotions from your trading, to help you build consistent profitability and scale up with funding. If you resonate with these types of lectures, that's the place to be. There's currently a 7-day free trial, so check that out in the link in the description below. I always appreciate you guys and girls sharing these videos with those you know would benefit from them, your trading friends, your trading communities. Always appreciate the comments, the like, the subscribes. That obviously helps me grow, and that shows me that you guys enjoy these types of videos and this content, and it just makes me want to push more content out. So thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Cheers.